Welcome, I'm Steve. If you are watching this video, you may be headed to Washington, D.C. for SLAS 2015. You are likely going to be meeting a lot of people. Saying hello and shaking hands may be easy. But then comes the hard part for a lot of people, carrying on a conversation. Have you ever had those awkward moments past the easy questions? Where are you from? What track are you following? Did you go to the last meeting? What are you working on? Beyond that, it's hard to get a conversation going, or keep it going. But you can use a few cues to make the conversation work better. Everything has inputs and outputs. This chip, for example, has an input and an output. In between is processing. Your smartphone is the same, but with more inputs. We have a camera, microphone, and touch display for inputs. We have speakers and a screen for outputs. People are a lot like cell phones. We have 5 basic inputs: sight, sound, feeling, smell, and taste. We have 2 major outputs: speech and action. Smell and taste are minor. Touch, vision, and hearing are major. Psychologists refer to these 3 major senses as the visual, auditory, and kinesthetic modalities. Humans prefer one sense over another, much like we prefer our left or right hand. Unlike handedness, there are 3. We might mix and match modalities a little more freely. That makes everyone different. Paradoxically, everyone likes to be the same. We are attracted to people who share our preferred modalities. Our outputs reflect our dominant modalities. What we do or say can tell us a lot about what modality we prefer. If we can detect the preferences of another and accommodate their preferences, we can build rapport with them. So how can you tell? There are tests you can take, but it's kind of silly to hand someone a questionnaire before you start a conversation with them. Since what we do and say tells a lot about us, we can use cues to guess at a modality. Let's look at some cues you can observe about a person, then estimate their preferences. Let's look at these 3 young people and see what we can figure out about them. Visual people are about looks and seeing. They very often look the best in the room. They are the ones who perk up when a chart or graph shows up in a presentation. Many artists and designers are visual people. Visual people tend to talk quickly. While eye contact is important for all conversations, you will find visual people will be more into eye contact and keep the view clear. If their eyes wander, they have a tendency to wander upwards. Auditory people are about sound. Their clothes often make a statement or are loud in color. They are the most likely to have stickers over everything. They tend to speak at a relatively moderate speed. Since hearing is so important to them, they tend to keep anything from blocking their hearing. They tend to look sideways when thinking, and may close their eyes or look away a lot so vision does not distract them from hearing. Kinesthetic people like touch and like to move. They tend to pick comfortable clothes with freedom of movement over fashion or statements. They never sit still. They are always in motion, from fidgeting to dancing. They often are athletes or fitness types into everything from yoga to running to team sports. On the other hand, you might find some kinesthetic who are so detached all they want to do is sit in a comfy chair all day long. Often these kinesthetics will be into fabrics that have interesting textures. We can reflect our preferences in words. See, I just did that. Twice. I'm visual. I used the word reflect and see. An auditory person, for example, might use the words echo or say. Here are some words that you might hear from a visual person. Here are some words you might hear from an auditory person. Here are some words you might hear from a kinesthetic person. How we say we understand or affirm may also be a clue. Here's some good examples. Visual people might say, I see or looks good. Auditory people will say, I hear you or sounds good. And kinesthetic people say, I can handle that or feels right. Once you know this, you can use the same words we've shown you in conversations. If I am talking to an auditory person, I can say, I hear ya. To make an observation to a visual person, say, I see that. Asking for a kinesthetic person's opinion might be, how do you feel about? Don't overdo it though. Be yourself as well. Overdoing it makes it look like mockery. The idea is to open channels and make conversation clear between people. SLAS 2015 will be a great place to get into many different kinds of conversations. Some may be looking for a new job. Some may be finding instruments they really need for their research. Some people will be learning new things or finding new colleagues. This video was brought to you by Scientific Device Laboratory. We at Scientific Device Laboratory are interested in conversation too. Meet with our experts making microfluidic platform solutions. Come by and engage us in conversation. See all we can do at booth 954 at the sign of the Orange Couch, or head over to our Orange Couch at sdlplatform.com to start the conversation. From all of us at Scientific Device Laboratory, we hope you have a great conference.